guys, welcome back to Beyond Dafeet. In this video, we're going to be taking our first run in the Hoka One One Bondi 7. Firstly, thanks Roger from Hoka One One Australia for sending us out this pair as well a few other pairs for us to try out and give our thoughts on. Thoroughly enjoy running this. Have a few more shoes coming up by Hoka One One to take our first runs in and just give our opinions on. So I ended up doing about 21 Ks on Monday evening, 14 Ks to dinner, then 7 Ks afterwards. So haven't ran in the Bondi series since the Bondi 4. Bondi 4 was my first Hoka, and I did about 780 Ks in it. Very luxurious shoe. You got a lot of stack height underneath your foot, and as well quite a nice adaptive upper. Just hugs the foot quite alright. Did love the 21 Ks I did in this shoe. I didn't think I'd do that much in this shoe, just since with how unfit I am at the moment. Very comfortable underneath the foot. Does definitely take a lot of forgiveness away from the legs, or takes a lot of shock absorption away from the legs, and kind of get that same sensation that I did running in the Carbon X, that you kind of running on a platform, so to speak. You do lose a kind of those feet sensories that I find you still have in the Clifton 7, whereas the Bondi 7 you're also running on quite a bit of a platform. Basically makes that cushioning a bit more like a new ground, and the new ground is quite soft underneath your feet. I wouldn't say you sink into it too much. Unlike some other shoes on the market, you got a bit more kind of softness, but I feel like it absorbs impact very, very nicely throughout the whole body. Takes a lot of fatigue out of the legs. Kind of still recovering from that 21 K since I shouldn't have done that, but I'll probably go for a run in this again today. But yeah, very comfortable shoe. I did find in the first kind of 2 kilometers that the midsole did feel a bit gluggy underneath the foot, probably just until I got into the rhythm of how this shoe caters for my foot. It did run quite smoothly underneath the foot. It does have a bit more weight underneath the foot than any other shoes on the market these days, hence why it is a bit more comfortable underneath the foot, and you do sink into it enough. It does give you a bit back. I wouldn't say the midsoles are responsive at all. These are more targeted at those active recovery runs. If you had a tough day or did a speed workout the day before and just wanted something the body doesn't get a whole lot of jarring from, and they want to recover quite nicely, and a Bondi 7 can easily do that. We'll just break down the outsoles and have a little talk about the shoes. A lot of rubber underneath that, especially under the forefoot. You've got a basically full rubber on that lateral side, so very durable when it comes to a neutral shoe. A lot of rubber underneath there, since this shoe is basically made for that max cushion and quite a bit of durability. No real faults with that rubber. It's all in the right spots. They have kind of deleted it from a few areas. Saves a bit of weight. It does kind of have a bit of forefoot flexion, but having quite a thick stack height. I think it's like a 33 to a 28. A lot of cushioning underneath the foot, and just with having that thick stack height, there isn't a whole lot of flexion, since there's about a good inch of cushioning underneath your forefoot, so that doesn't flex too much. If you are someone that has any arthritis even in your metatarsals, so if you want something that doesn't get too much inflammation there, the Bondi 7, with having quite a rocker sole, saves that forefoot flexion and saves that inflammation of the arthritis coming up. So if you are a runner suffering from that, or even a walker, the Bondi 7 can easily accommodate that, and you're just going to get a lot less inflammation in the joints. Even if you have something like bursitis, it can easily work as well. Very comfortable midsole. Definitely one of the thickest stack heights on the market, if not the thickest when it comes to actual specifications on the shoe. Very comfortable midsole. A lot of cushioning underneath the foot as well as the heels. You do have quite a hilly environment where you are. Coming down on that heel and just transitioning to the mid forefoot is quite easy, since it does have that rocker sole. It's how Hoka originated, running downhill, so basically it makes it a lot easier on the body. It keeps you quite guided throughout that steps, having quite a splayed rear foot as well as midfoot and forefoot, so very nice guidance shoe. It is a max cushion neutral shoe though. Just moving on to the upper, so this is the only component they have changed from the 6. A lot of memory foam around that heel counter. It is quite a bit more of a V-shaped heel, and I think they've got kind of an adaptive fit, so a lot of cushioning there in the memory foam. Can easily adapt to most foot types, since even if you are a U-shaped heel, it will kind of splay out and adapt to your heel quite nicely. Nice lockdown over the midfoot. It does have quite a wide tongue on it. It's not gutted at all, but it is quite a plush, luxurious tongue. Over those 21Ks, I didn't really find it slipping anywhere, since it is has quite a wide wingspan on it. Toe box, quite roomy. In both the Hokas I have taken a half size down to 11.5 US, whereas some other shoes are running a 12. But nice round toe box, very breathable. I didn't feel any hot spots on my feet. Was running in probably 8 degrees Celsius, so it was quite a cool night. No real hot spots on the feet at all when it comes to the shoe, and yeah, very breathable. Didn't have any irritation on the upper as well, since it is quite seamless. They have done a bit more of a 3D print around the rear of the foot, so it does lock that heel counter around the back half of your foot nicely. I do utilise that lock lace still in this shoe, since it is quite of a broader heel counter, and I just feel like it sits on my foot a bit better having that lock lace. All in all, very good shoe by Hoka. They didn't need to change that midsole and outsole combo, since it did work great for quite a lot of runners. They were having a bit of trouble with the upper. Some were deteriorating a bit faster than others. But yeah, very nice touches. That's all they really needed to update, was that upper. It does have a bit more volume throughout the whole foot, so if you do have a higher instep or a higher arch, or even just quite a chunky forefoot, this can easily accommodate you, and since it doesn't have that gusseted tongue, there is a lot of leeway with how much volume you can access in that instep height. Very good shoe. I'll probably see myself picking this up a bit more, probably just on those recovery runs. Those maybe even building a bit more endurance, since it's just going to take a lot of jarring out of the body, and it does work as a good cardiovascular shoe if you just want something that gets your cardio up a bit, getting into those longer runs, and you're wanting to build that kind of base foundation quite easily. The Bondi 7 will do that. It's definitely not a speed shoe. You could easily do a marathon in it. I've done about, I think, 2 half Ironmans in that Bondi 4 that I had. Not sure I'd change a whole lot when it comes to the shoe itself. It's very nicely dialed in. There's nothing I'd really fault on it at all. The laces hold very nicely. They've got 3D printing around that, so it's not going to slip anywhere or kind of get fatigued over the life of the shoe. I'd probably see myself pumping out about 800 Ks. I think this shoe would easily handle it. It is only made for running though, so don't use this as a gym shoe or kind of an everyday shoe, since the foam that they do use can compress quite a bit quickly if you do use it for a bit of everything, whereas it's just built as a running shoe. It's going to give the feedback that it needs. Yeah, if you have been running in the Bondi 7, let us know. I think it's a brilliant shoe. Ticks all the boxes for that max cushion shoe, especially for the audience it is targeting. Let us know what your thoughts are on the Bondi 7. Let us know if you want us to compare this to any other shoes, and subscribe and all that jargon. We'll see you in another video.